Started during the commercial break and had a little snack. It may sound cheesy, but nobody wants their party guests to be bored, which is why we're creating beautiful boards of cheese with our next expert.
Yay! We are joined with Stacey. She's from Boujee Boards and Charcuterie. She's grazing tables, and so are we. You're here to show us that, you know, it's more than just meat and cheese. It's art. It's art, friends.
It absolutely is. So how did you start Boujee Boards? I love the name.
So I think most people always watched cartoons when they were little kids. I was watching cooking shows. So I've always had a passion for cooking, and I worked in restaurants pretty much my whole life. And I just decided, after bringing charcuterie boards to all the events, my friends were like, you really should do a business. And I was just like, why not? Why can't I?
Yes.
So I just celebrated my 1-year anniversary in September.
Congrats. We're here for it.
Thank you.
That is really, really exciting. We have some photos of some of your amazing boards that you've created. Now, what sets you apart?
I think it's in the name, Boujee Board. So I try to find the most exquisite ingredients to put on your board. It's not just a basic board. I also dehydrate all my own fruits on the board. If it's in season, I'll use all of my own fresh herbs and just stuff like that. Try to get some stuff locally sourced from people around the area as well.
You said good food, pretty food is life, so let's get into it.
Yes, so tell us some tips and tricks, because I go and spend a bunch of money getting all my stuff and it looks ugly.
So a few tricks are learning how to do some fun things with your meats and cheeses, right? So this is called the salami river. So I'm going to show you ladies how to make it.
Salami river, let's do it.
So you take a salami, just fold it in half. And then you're going to fold it in half again. Oh, you have 2 pieces. That might not work as well.
Right.
and then you got to kind of press it down and lay it flat. And then you're going to do the second one. And when you go to do it, you do it opposite of what you had the other one. And then you just keep going.
So I had this, and I have...
Yep, so you're going to turn it. You're going to do one this way and turn it this way.
Oh, and turn it this way. So both flat ends are...
both flat ends are together. And then you're just going to keep adding.
And get that river
and
going.
And adding and pinching. And once you get fast at it, you just, you get really fast.
Well, but it's already starting to look so much prettier than if you just lay them out. Right. And now what about, there is a little rose thing I've seen.
Yeah, I did the rose today. I did actually a dahlia. So it's a elevated flower, because I feel like the rose a lot of people do. And I do a lot of roses, but today I decided to do a salami dahlia, which is very similar to the rose in the inside, but you just kind of flap the salami sideways along the cup. And kind of hold it so it makes that dahlia shape. So something just a little different.
Is there a placement, like an art to the placement of everything?
I would say yes. I usually start with fruit. Just because it's the big kind of component. And then always go to cheeses next. And then I go in with the meats and then kind of the filler stuff. Your pickles, your olives, your nuts, anything like that. And then just extra fruit and garnishes.
I was going to say, you like to use a lot of greenery.
Greenery is something that's huge. So anytime you can get fresh greenery on the board, I think it sets it apart. It really gives it that bougie kind of feel. I've seen a lot of boards that don't have any greenery on it, and I'm just like, oh, it's missing something.
You're like, call me next time.
Yeah, call me next time.
Okay, something important that I've run into, I'm sure Laura has too, when you're cutting the cheese, especially soft cheeses, they end up kind of falling apart, and then the board just looks icky.
We're going to professionally cut the cheese right now.
We're going to professionally cut the cheese. So let me show you a few tips and tricks on brie cheese, which is one of the hardest cheeses to cut because it's super sticky. Stick it in the freezer for about 10 minutes before you're actually going to start your board. So that'll make it a little bit more solid, easier to cut. And then you're going to go in with your sharp knife, and I usually have a faucet at home, but here we're making do with our cup, and just warm up your knife with some hot water, and then kind of just, you don't want it to be soaking wet. But then when you go in and you actually cut it,
well, look at that clean cut.
I mean, it's a really clean, easy cut, and then there's no residue on your knife, and your cheese isn't sticking all over the place. So you have a beautiful, even, nice, yummy cut.
Yeah,
look at that clean cut.
Yep. So that's how you can do all the shapes when you do the triangles and stuff. Just one after the other. Just keep cutting them with your warm knife.
Now, is that the same for like a goat cheese?
The same
Any kind of soft cheeses?
The same with the goat cheese. Goat cheese is a little crumbly, so sometimes it's even better to use almost like a piece of floss. Sometimes floss works really good to cut a goat cheese.
Now, what's the best way to transport? Because, I mean, we don't want to ruin this work of art.
So I tell people I bag them before I serve them. And then when I tell people, kitchen shears or knife, don't try to pull it out of the bag. If you try to pull it out of the bag, everything kind of goes you know, kitty wampus.
Yeah.
So just try to cut the bag open, and then if you want to store it when you're done, you're gonna have to, you know, package it separately or use Saran wrap, and then lay it flat in your car. Floor of the, like on the floor mats or in the trunk on my SUV. That's how I usually transport.
Wow, you're amazing. This is amazing. I know.
Sorry, I've got to.
I mean, figs, everything. There's nothing you've forgotten in here. Thank you so much for being here, Stacey. You're going to have to come back and show us some more tips and tricks of the trade.
That's to die for.
To check out more of her work, please visit Boujee Boards Charcuterie. You can check them out on Instagram as well. Take a look. There it is right on your screen.